Brooksville is one of those towns that people either immediately connect with or realize it's just not for them. And I'm going to show you both sides. In this video, I'll walk you through what daily life in Brooksville actually looks like. The downtown scene, the housing market, local amenities. I'm going to give you the pros, the cons, and who this town is really built for. I'm Angelo Marcello. I'm a real estate agent in Tampa Bay, and I've helped dozens of families decide whether Brooksville is their spot or not. And there's one thing about this town that surprises almost everyone who visits for the first time. Let's get into it. Brooksville is actually the county seat of Hernando County, but don't let that title fool you into thinking it's a big city. The population is just around 10,000 people, and that's just in the city proper. Though the city has been growing at roughly 2% annually, it's still small. It's quiet. It has brick-lined streets and buildings that date back to over 100 years old. The vibe here is distinctly old Florida. Downtown Brooksville isn't a planned community or a sprawling suburb. Brooksville actually grew up organically, which means the town has character, but it also has some quirks. The courthouse is downtown. There's historic buildings everywhere, and it actually has a cute little Main Street area that's continuing to grow. There's new restaurants moving in, has great coffee shops, it has some upscale spots. There's even a brewery called Marker 48. Coming soon is a rooftop distillery and an upscale barbershop. Here's an interesting fact. Brooksville used to have more cows than people. That's right. And it's very much still a cowboy town. People love their cowboy boots here. There's lots of ranches, horse farms. You'll see folks in jeans and boots taking care of cattle and riding horses. Let's talk about what you can actually buy here. Brooksville has a mix of housing stock that you don't find everywhere. You've got historic homes in downtown or close to downtown, some with real character, original details on brick-lined streets. And then you have newer construction in the developments on the outskirts of downtown Brooksville. And you've got everything in between. So price-wise, Brooksville is much more affordable than Tampa. It's even more affordable than other parts of Hernando County. The median price in Hernando County overall is around $330,000, with single-family homes averaging closer to just a little under $300,000, $285,000. Actually working with the client right now who lives in one of these beautiful Gulf communities, perfect homes, perfect place to live, but they've decided they're done with that. They want something a little messier, something a little different. They want to move to downtown Brooksville. They want that mix of historic homes and newer homes. They want to be able to walk to restaurants and coffee shops and to the festivals that they have downtown. They want First Friday music events. There's also, downtown Brooksville also has an amphitheater. It's a different lifestyle than the 55 plus community. The 55 plus buyer will find fewer options directly in Brooksville compared to the outskirts of downtown, but there are communities within easy driving distance of downtown Brooksville. So if you want that downtown feel and don't mind driving 15 to 20 minutes to amenities, Brooksville can work for you. Let me give you a realistic picture of amenities and what's really here. Well, as mentioned, downtown Brooksville has a handful of restaurants, some antique shops, that brewery that I mentioned earlier, and a few spots that have become community gathering places. There's a growing art scene too. There's events throughout the year. Almost every other weekend, there's something going on in downtown Brooksville. And there's a genuine effort from locals to revitalize downtown. One of my favorite restaurants is the Green Door Restaurant. It's a newer restaurant. They got one in downtown Dade City called Green Door on 8th, and it's bistro style. They got everything from homemade meatloaf to salmon with exotic sauces. And they have an amazing burger, one of the best burgers in town, or anywhere for that fact. It's one of the many good spots that are popping up, but I want to be straight with you. This is not a destination downtown. You're not going to spend every single weekend exploring new restaurants because there aren't that many. The people who love Brooksville love it because they appreciate what's here, not because they're expecting something different every weekend. Grocery and everyday shopping is available in Brooksville, right? We have a Publix, a Walmart, an Aldi for the basics, and there's even a Sprouts farmer's market. But anything beyond that, like a Whole Foods or specialty shopping, you'd probably driving down to Tampa for that. But there's one thing that Brooksville does well, and that is affordability. So for what you would spend on a condo in Tampa, you can get a house here with land. Medium house price is around $460,000. In Hernando County, it's around $330,000. And that math is real. And that's the main reason why people look in this direction. I tell people all the time, when you look at the homes in the neighborhood right behind me, there's $800, $900 million homes. And those same homes in Hillsborough or Pinellas County would be 2 or 3 million, double easily. So if you're trying to escape noise, traffic, and crowds, Brooksville delivers. This is a place where you can hear yourself think. Nature access. You're close to the Weeki Wachee Springs, close to the Withlacoochee State Forest, and you're close to some of the best kayaking in Florida. So if outdoor recreation is your thing and it matters to you, the location is ideal. You're not far from Hernando Beach, which is great for boaters who want access to the Gulf for fishing or amazing sunsets. You see, small towns have a different social fabric. People know each other. There are regulars at the local spots, and if you put some effort into it, you can build genuine connections here. I sold a home to a couple from New Hampshire. That's where I'm originally from. They knew they didn't want to be in Tampa or close to the city. They wanted to be north of Tampa. So I showed them a couple of different homes in different 55 plus communities. That's where they wanted to be. And they fell in love with one. It was a pool home. It had a great golf course. The community had everything from $300,000 homes to well over $1 million homes. So as they're driving to their beautiful villa, they get to drive by these grand homes. And the social scene in that community was off the charts, or it is off the charts. There's something going on every day. They have every club you can think of. And of course, they have a resort-style pool. In the area, well, it reminded them of New Hampshire because it's country. And I say it all the time. Brooksville is like living in the mountains without the mountains. So what are some of the cons? Let's look at the other side of things. Well, there is limited dining and entertainment, as I've mentioned before. If you want that variety, cultural events and nightlife, you're probably going to have to drive for it. It's not a knock to Brooksville. It's just the reality of a town of this size and distance from Tampa. So speaking of distance, you're about 50 miles from Tampa or roughly an hour, depending on where you're going and traffic. And for some people, that's perfectly fine. For others, though, that need to pop down to the city regularly, it becomes a barrier. Now, distance from the beaches. So if you're moving to Florida because you want beach access, Brooksville might not be your spot. Yes, we have Hernando Beach, which is great for boating and fishing on the Gulf, but it's not a beach called Hernando Beach. I don't know why. But there is a beach called Pine Island about 30 miles from here, but it's a man-made beach. A guy literally made it into a beach on the Gulf of Mexico. But if you want real sand and real waves, you're driving down to Clearwater Beach or St. Pete Beach. Let me give you the honest breakdown. Brooksville is a strong fit if you're retired or semi-retired and want to stretch your budget. If you want to work remotely and you want peace and quiet, if you value nature over nightlife, if you're okay with a slower pace of life and fewer options in exchange for affordability and space, if you want a genuine small town feel and not a manufactured one, and if you want to be near the water for boating and fishing, but don't need to be on the water, Brooksville is probably not your spot if you want walk-in urban amenities, if you need to be close to Tampa, or if you get restless without a variety of restaurants and activities. If you're at a life stage where career opportunities matter, if a beach access is a priority, neither of those is a judgment. It's just about fit. What's Brooksville? Brooksville is a small, quiet, affordable town with character. It's not trying to be Tampa, it's not trying to be St. Pete, and it's not apologizing for what it is. I'm Angelo Marcello. If you're considering Brooksville or anywhere north of Tampa Bay, I'm happy to walk you through whether it makes sense for your situation. No sales pitch, just honest conversation. Let's figure this out together. If you're also looking for 55 plus communities in this area, I got a video that ranks the best options north of Tampa. That might be a good next step. I'll see you there.